This is The Figure Mark with one of the biggest action figure marks around, Matthew Goldberg.
Hello guys, and welcome to The Figure Mark. I am your host, Matthew Goldberg, one of the biggest wrestling figure marks around. Now, I know a lot of you guys were anxiously awaiting the debut of this podcast, and I was really excited to bring you something special that I've never explored before myself. So I figured this would be something really fun to do for all of us collectors, since there is the big community, and I've just loved participating in it over the years on Facebook and WrestlingFigures.com. Be sure to check out Ringside Collectibles for all your wrestling action figure needs. I wanted to introduce myself for those of you that may not know who I am. You may know me as MBG1211 on YouTube. I created the popular stop-motion animated show CCW, also known as Crash Collision Wrestling, and that's kind of how I broke out into this industry, so to speak. Those of you who know me well know my whole backstory, and those of you who are new to me and my audience, I just want to let you know that I've been a wrestling collector since I was very young, and I still collect to this very day. I started a very popular wrestling show, CCW, as I said, and over the years it became really, really popular. It was discovered by Eric Bischoff in 2008, and I did some promotional video work for Jakks Pacific with their WWE and TNA and UFC license. And then I went on to college, and I got my bachelor's degree in film, and I interned with Eric and Hulk Hogan at TNA for a few years, where I got to hang out and do some animation for them. And then I made friends with Elijah Burke and Lisa Marie Varon, also known as Tara. And I did some documentaries with them that went to Cannes, and I became really good friends with them over the years since. And I made friends with some other wrestlers there as well. And then I went on to graduate school, and I started doing animation work for the WWE. And now I am doing my own podcast. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed preparing this for you. So that being said, if you're listening to me on SoundCloud right now, that's at soundcloud.com/thefiguremark, or you could be listening to me as well on my YouTube at youtube.com/mbg1211. Feel free to leave comments. Let me know what you liked, what you don't like, suggestions on things you'd like me to talk about in future episodes, and even if you would like to be on a future episode, I'd love to chat figures with you guys. So reach out to me, as I really want this to become something special. You could also send in questions for guests or myself, or topics or what have you, on Twitter at TheFigureMark, or on Facebook at facebook.com/TheFigureMark. Alright guys, so now let's get into the figure talk, shall we? So many new lineups were revealed as of late. A lot of stuff was leaked. It was just crazy the past few weeks, honestly. And that's why I decided to push this show back towards the end of every month, because you never know when some news is going to come through, and I feel that it's better to do this at the end of every month, because I don't want you to first hear news from me that you already heard like weeks ago, sort of thing. So I figured it would be a great way to wrap up the month, each and every month. So that being said, so many awesome lineups were revealed, like Elite 35, which I was pretty excited about. I know there's a lot of people who are complaining about it. I don't know. There's some people, in my opinion, that are just never happy with anything that Mattel or Jakks or whoever does. But I personally am really excited for them. I'm most excited for a new Elite Luke Harper, as he is one of my favorites. Those of you that know me well know I love the Wyatt family, and I know they're no longer the Wyatt family, which I think is stupid. But I'm really excited for another Elite Luke Harper. So I'm really looking forward to that. There's a new Randy Orton in the set, so hopefully he will have a new head sculpt, and I really hope he doesn't have that new smiling head scan that's on his latest basic figure. from Series 48, I believe. That one just looks horrendous. I'm sorry, Mattel, but that's one of the worst Orton head scans, in my opinion, that have been made in a long time. But also in the set is Diego and Fernando from the Matadors, so I'm really excited they are getting elites. Triple H is getting a new elite. I don't know what to think of that one yet. It could just be like his Elite 28 one, I don't know. But then also in the set is Earthquake, and that one a lot of people were really excited for, and I am excited for it as well. I love collecting flashbacks as it always reminds me of my childhood. So it's great when Mattel does do that. Another Elite set revealed is Elite 38. And ironically, we have yet to hear about Elite 36 and 37. And my guess is that we'll first hear about it at Toy Fair in February. And then we should know everything from there. If I had to guess, I would say that Mattel is probably flip-flopping guys and just hasn't locked in a firm set yet. So that's why we haven't heard about those yet. But anyway, Elite 38 looks fantastic in my opinion. It has Daniel Bryan, which is the one I'm probably least excited about in the set. But I'm probably still going to get it. Also in the set is Adam Rose. I'm really excited about that one. I hope he comes with like his robe or coat, however you want to describe it. Even the John Morrison coat would look cool on him, but I know that's very costly for Mattel today. So they would probably make it rubber, unfortunately. It would be cool if he came with a lollipop, too. Also in the set is Roman Reigns. That one I'm sure won't be too drastically different from his Elite 33 one, but I have no idea at this point. And then there's a flashback APA of Farouk and Bradshaw, which is awesome. That's Attitude Era for me when I grew up watching wrestling, so I'm really excited about those for sure. And then there's a WCW Macho Man, which I'm also really excited about. So hopefully those figures look great. I doubt we'll see any photos or even prototypes of them at this point. Probably not till San Diego if I had to guess. But you never know, so we'll have to keep an eye out on Toy Fair coming up soon. Another great lineup revealed recently was the Battle Pack Series 34 of the WWE figures. I'm actually really excited about this Battle Pack set as I think it is a great lineup. It has Hornswoggle and El Torito from their WLC match back from a while ago, and they do come with mini weapons, which should be funny. I'm sure that will be a popular battle pack, honestly. I'm excited to get an updated Hornswoggle, and yeah, you could quote me on that. I don't know how often I'll ever say that, but I am excited to get a new 3MB style Hornswoggle. Also in the set are the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal, which are one of my favorite tag teams since I was a little boy. And lastly, there's Rusev and Lana, which should also sell really well because it is Lana's first release, I believe. So at least that's the only one confirmed yet. I think she's not in any of the lineups prior to that, so that will be your first time in the line figure. So I'm really excited to get that one too. A lot of people were complaining that they come with cinder blocks, and I don't know why they come with them. Some people have been asking me. I honestly have no idea. It would make more sense to come with Ambrose and Seth Rollins, but I don't really care. Honestly, because I'm going to open them anyway, and it'll be nice to have some new accessories that I don't have. So you could always put it with your Ambrose and Rollins figures if you really want to. Another awesome series that was revealed recently was Basic Series 50, which I think is a fantastic set, honestly. It has Goldust, Seth Rollins, Daniel Bryan, Summer Rae, Sami Zayn, and Adam Rose. And I think that's a great lineup in a long time, honestly. I'll probably get the set. I don't know if I'll get Daniel Bryan, maybe. But Goldust I'll probably get. Hopefully it has his newest face paint with like the Flames face paint style he has. And I love Goldust since I was little. So I'm really excited to get that. And then Seth Rollins hopefully will be updated. I hope it's that new head scan that we saw revealed in that sculpting video, if you guys saw that. I think Gentle Giant was the one who posted that video, the company that sculpts that, and his head scan looked fantastic. Summer Rae should be popular. Hopefully she looks good. I know a lot of people have been anxiously awaiting a figure of her. She's long overdue, honestly. You could put her with your Fandango figures if you want to, even though Rosa Mendez should be with your Fandango figure now if you want to be accurate. But the two most popular in the set, I would guess, will be Adam Rose and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, for sure, with how popular NXT has been, should be the most popular one. I'm really looking forward to Sami Zayn, honestly. I mean, I don't watch NXT as heavily as I should be, but I really like him. He's so talented, and I can't wait for him to be on the main roster. But I'm really excited for that figure, and I really hope Mattel makes an elite of him soon, because that figure deserves to be in elite form. Another great basic set revealed, not as exciting in my opinion as Series 50, is Series 51. It has Heath Slater, Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Stardust, and Stephanie McMahon. So I think the most popular in this set will probably be Ambrose, Stardust, and Stephanie. Maybe Ziggler, depending how good the figure looks. Hopefully he has a new scan that looks good. Stone Cold should sell pretty well, I'm sure, because, I mean, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin. But Heath Slater, I'm assuming, will probably be the weakest figure in the set, even though his head scan on his last basic was really good. Just because he hasn't really been on all that much, I don't think his figure will sell all that well. But granted, this set isn't coming out for a little while anyway, so maybe he'll be back on TV by then. But I'm really excited for Stardust and Stephanie. And Ambrose, of course. I just hope his head scan is fixed. I know a lot of people were really mad about the latest Dean Ambrose head scan. And I didn't think it looked horrific. I just thought the hair looked kind of silly. But I know Mattel is supposedly retooling some of the Rollins and Ambrose figures. I don't know if that means a different head scan or what. But I'm looking forward to it regardless. I love Ambrose, and I'm really excited to get an updated figure of him since I made my own to hold me over until then. One of the new series shown via pictures was Elite 34. It was revealed early. I know the person who shared the photos, and I was really excited that we got to see some really in-depth photos of that stuff. Because I think they all look great. Honestly, I'm really excited to get them. I'm super excited for the Hulk Hogan figure, as I am a huge Hulkamaniac, as I said before. But Rusev looks great. Doink looks great. Paige looks great. They all just look so good. I'm really excited for the Bad News Barrett, too, actually. My only question, though, after seeing them was I wonder if Paige has the double-jointed knee joints like they showed at Comic-Con. A while ago, as she was supposed to be the first Diva figure with double-jointed knees, which would be nice because I know a lot of the Diva figures are limited in articulation. So I guess we'll have to find out about that one. But you could see photos of them on my Twitter at WWETNA Figures. And yeah, they look great, and I highly recommend checking them out, as you will probably get really excited about them as well. And lastly, for WWE figures, I saw Ringside recently revealed photos of the new WrestleMania Heritage Elite figures of Kane and Undertaker, and they both look fantastic. I personally am really excited to get both of them. Undertaker, for sure, is my top one out of those two, because it's just an old classic version of him. And I actually bought another Elite 23 and fixed it up with my Entrance Greats one, only to find out that Mattel was going to be making the same version of him. So I'm disappointed I did that. I'll have to go back and swap parts again. But check out the images of them. The Kane figure, they fixed his mask after people were complaining, and now he's completely accurate. Both of them look great, and those should be out soon too, I would imagine, probably closer to Mania. But I'm really looking forward to getting those. As for TNA figures go, the latest lineup was revealed. There were photos, at least of some of them kind of leaked. There's Velvet Sky, Magnus, Angelina Love, and Mr. Anderson. Angelina, I think, leaked a photo of her figure on her Twitter recently. And Velvet's figure, if it looks the same, I have no idea, but I remember it was revealed a long time ago. I think they basically have the same body, just Angelina has her tattoos and whatnot. It's the same head scan as her other one. I'm sure Magnus is just a new outfit. And then Mr. Anderson hopefully has a new outfit with his longer tights. But I honestly have no idea. I haven't reached out to my friends at Jack's about it yet, but I probably will soon. Maybe I'll have more info for you by the next episode regarding those. I know a lot of people don't understand why there's only 4 figures to a set in the TNA line, or why they keep repeating the same people. From what I learned over the years with Jax and being at TNA, that the budget shrunk for the line, so they had to remove the amount of guys in the sets. That way they can give a lot more effort to the guys in the set, if that makes sense. So they could give them more detailed tattoo work, graphics, and so on. They keep repeating a lot of people because it's cheaper that way. They're already made. It's more costly for them to make new molds, so that's why you only see a new face like every other set sort of thing. I don't know. I haven't inquired about this in a while, so I don't know if the reasoning has changed since then, but that's what I remember being told a long time ago once this started happening. I don't keep up with TNA anymore. I kind of butted heads with them when I left. And I believe all my friends there aren't even there anymore either. I mean, I wish them the best. I know they just changed to Destination America. And I saw Jeff Hardy took a really nasty fall. Jeff's a really cool guy. So, Jeff, if you're listening, I doubt you are, but if you are listening, I hope you heal quickly from that, because that was pretty scary. But anyway, the TNA figures, I assume, should be out in the next month or so. Ringside doesn't even have them up for pre-order yet, so it still might be a ways away, honestly. And that's why the sets don't even come out that often anymore. It's just the budget. They can't afford to release sets like Mattel does, because Mattel has a ginormous budget for the WWE figures compared to Jax with the TNA ones. So I want to talk about some of the latest exclusives I've seen on the Ringside Collectibles website. They have their new casket sets. I don't know, they're not that new anymore, but I recently reviewed them. If you wanted to see them more in depth, they're really cool. They're really detailed and just an awesome accessory. In my opinion, like the best coffin accessory made in years. They also just revealed recently they have referee cloth shirts for your figures, so if you want to make any of your figures a special guest referee, check those out. They're not expensive. They also have more of their special chairs. They're just the Jax folding chairs, I believe, just multiple colors. They have the Ringside Collectibles logo on them. And then another cool thing that they did, which I'm actually excited about as well, is they made authentic ring ropes for the authentic scale ring in multiple colors. So you could get yellow like for NXT ropes. You could get blue, I believe, for like SmackDown ropes. They have red, white, and blue for like classic ropes. And they're supposed to be thicker and sturdier than the Wicked Cool Toys authentic scale ring ropes that some people are complaining about. I have no problem with them, honestly. But if you want to update your ring or change the look of it, check those out on Ringside. And speaking of Wicked Cool Toys, later in the show, I am going to have one of my longtime friends from the toy industry, Jeremy Padawer. He was the head guy at Jax for a while, in charge of the WWE license. He brought us the Classic Superstars line and just kind of created our collections today. He changed the wrestling figure world, honestly. I'm really excited to have him on the show, as he is the co-founder of Wicked Cool Toys now. He left Jax, and now he helps promote the WWE license that he has there. They made the authentic scale ring, which is awesome. For those of you that didn't know, I did review that ring on my Wrestling Figure Wednesday show. That's on my YouTube at youtube.com/mbg1211. Releases every Wednesday and Friday at 4 p.m. Central Time, and sometimes on Mondays with exclusive episodes. I did review the ring, and since that review, there's been a newer version of that ring released. And I guess Wicked Cool Toys will be releasing slightly modified versions of stuff later on. But they released a version with the turnbuckle tag team ropes, which are the white ropes that the guys hold on to in order to be tagged legally into the ring. And then they changed the way the canvas attaches to the ring itself to prevent it from sliding. And it has like elastic ropes. I don't have that, but I did get the updated turnbuckle post from them with the tag ropes, and it's really cool to make it more authentic, no pun intended. But anyway, I believe in May they have their authentic scale cages coming out, and they're doing the modern steel cage and the classic blue steel cage, and I believe they just come with the cages, not the ring. So if you don't have a ring, pick up a ring and then start investing in these awesome cages. I will be reviewing them early like I did with the ring to hopefully encourage you guys to check them out. So look forward to those, as I'm really excited to get an authentic scale modern steel cage, as we've never had one. And it should be awesome. I can't wait to see that. I wonder if they'll show it at Toy Fair, so that's another thing to look forward to. Anyway, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, I'll talk about stuff that's at the stores now, as a lot of stuff kind of is starting to hit shelves. And yeah, we'll go on from there. So stay tuned.
Looking for one of the most popular stop-motion animation wrestling shows on the internet today? Then check out Crash Collision Wrestling, created by the one and only Matt Goldberg. He's the director of Terrified and Pope Against All Odds. CCW is a stop-motion animation series featuring WWE and TNA stars, and it also happens to be endorsed by the likes of Elijah Burke, Hulk Hogan, and TNA knockout Tara.
This is Tara from Impact Wrestling, and for the #1 animated wrestling show, make sure you check out Crash Collision Wrestling, or else get slammed by moi.
Check out the show by logging on to youtube.com/mbg1211, and don't forget to like Crash Collision Wrestling on Facebook. Once again, check out Crash Collision Wrestling today.
Because everybody knows, much like Pope, CCW is pimping.
Alright guys, welcome back to The Figure Mark with your host, Matthew Goldberg. Now I wanted to talk to you guys about stuff that's been hitting shelves at retail. The latest and most exciting thing at retail currently is a Defining Moments Hulk Hogan figure. A lot of people have started to find him at Meijer stores, which is like a Kmart type store. It's a department store sort of thing. But it's in the Midwest. I have one in Illinois, but I know not a lot of people have ever heard of it. But it's also hitting Kmart shelves now, and I know that started to hit in the Midwest as well. So keep an eye out for the Defining Moments Hulk Hogan if you want it. I reviewed it on my Wrestling Figure Wednesday show, and you could check that out at facebook.com/wrestlingfigwed. I think it's a tremendous figure. I highly recommend it. It's one of my favorite Mattel figures, honestly. I'm a huge Hulkamaniac as well. But it is a great job, and I really, really recommend it. It's currently $24.99 at Meijer, and it's $29.99 at Kmart. I have no idea why it's more expensive than Ric Flair was. But definitely check your Kmarts now for it, as it will probably fly off the shelves. Another thing hitting Kmart right now is their new 3-pack, which is Los Matadors and El Torito. So if you can ever find El Torito, that's a good way to pick him up. Or if you couldn't find the Matadors or all three of them, that's your way to get it. It's a new box. It's like orange and smaller. It looks really cool. So look for that if you're looking for those. Otherwise, not a whole lot of new stuff is really at retail right now. The latest Basic Series 45, just started hitting Kmart's and Walmart's a few weeks ago. Elite 32 is the latest Elite set that's out. And then, yeah, I mean, it's been a little slow since the holidays, even though the holidays things are coming out left and right. But I imagine stuff will be hitting very soon, because so many things have been releasing online. I mean, Ringside's already receiving Series 48, and we haven't even seen Series 46 at the store yet, so it's a matter of time. Elite 33 should be out soon, too. So keep an eye out for those. And the latest aggravation of what's not hitting retail involves the Toys R Us series, the Build-A-Figure series of Paul Bear and the Corporate Kane. I'm super bummed that these have not yet hit retail in the United States. It makes no sense, and from what I heard, it's Toys R Us's fault. They want the shelves cleared, and I don't blame them, of the set with Alberto Del Rio. I think that was the Booker T Build-A-Figure set. They just bought way too many of them, and they're just flooding the shelves still. But the Paul Bear set I really wanted because I'm an Attitude Era guy, as I said earlier, and the figure of Paul looked fantastic, and I was really excited for it, and it's been over a year now since it was supposed to be out, and I have actually saved gift cards I received for him, as I was waiting to use them on that set. So I hope to God they come out in 2015, but I have no idea. I hope maybe we'll find out at Toy Fair, maybe a little more information about them. But the same goes for the Corporate Kane set. I mean, they're in Canada. The Paul Bear set's in Canada and in the UK. But the Corporate Kane set has a new Bray Wyatt, which I was dying to get, and I'm so bummed that it is not out here. I'm not spending crazy money to get them, as I am patiently waiting for them. I mean, The Undertaker looked fantastic as well. But Kane looked pretty cool. I just really hope they release soon. I don't know anything about them right now. You guys know pretty much as I do. But I hope Ringside or somebody asks Mattel soon at Toy Fair or something for us to learn more about what the hell happened to them. So I'll keep you posted if I hear anything. Keep an eye out on my Twitter at @TheFigureMark, or on my other Twitter at WWETNA Figures, and hopefully we will release some news about that soon once we hear something. Anyway, I want to talk about some of my favorite figures of 2014, as well as a lot of you guys voiced your opinion on some of the worst ones you liked, as well as ones you really did like. So let's get into that. Alright, so some of my favorite figures of 2014 were the Wyatt family. No surprise there. The Bray Wyatt Elite 28 figure is probably my favorite figure of 2014. That figure's fantastic, looks just like him. I was dying to get it when I saw him revealed. I think it was at Ringside Fest or something when they revealed him. I could be wrong, though, so don't quote me on that one. It's been so long, but I was so excited for that figure. And the Luke Harper Elite 29 and Eric Rowan Elite 29 figures were fantastic as well. Those are honestly three of my favorite Elite figures. I love all three of them. And I wasn't a huge fan of the Luke Harper scan. I mean, because I'm biased towards them, it was fine. But once the new Battle Pack 31 Luke Harper came out, I immediately did a head swap, and now he looks just fantastic. They did a superb job with the Battle Pack 31 Luke Harper figure. That one is just fantastic. Let's see, some of my other favorites were Zeb Coulter's Basic 37 figure. I think Mattel did a great job with him. And I really love the Elite 30 Animal figure. I've always been a huge fan of Animal since I was little, and that figure is just superb in my opinion. I really like the Elite 32 Daniel Bryan figure. I mean, it's not amazing. I was disappointed that his face was painted slightly different than his body, but I really love that it's Wyatt family related, and the fact he has a cloth jumpsuit. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, those are probably some of my favorite figures of 2014. My favorite figure of 2015 already is Defining Moments Hulk Hogan. I know he just came out in the end of December online. I got one from my buddy Mark as a Christmas gift, so thank you again, Mark, for that. It was very generous of you. But I love the figure and so recommend it to you guys, honestly. It is just an amazing figure. Now, some of my least favorite figures of 2014. This one's a toughie for me, honestly. I'm not even really sure if I could answer that, to be honest. I can't really pinpoint a specific figure I thought was just horrendous. But maybe like the Elite 26 Mark Henry figure or something. His leg joints are still messed up. I haven't opened my Elite 32 Mark Henry yet, but I'm assuming his leg molds are still messed up, where you lift the leg up and it just slowly moves back down because it's too tight, in the ball jointed like crotch area for posability. So I don't know. You guys spoke your mind on what you thought were some of the worst figures of 2014. One of you said Kane from Elite Series 31. Another of you also said Elite 31 Kane. And another of you said Elite 31 Kane. So no love for Elite 31 Kane. Somebody said the Toys R Us Break the Streak Brock Lesnar figure. That figure, it's okay. I mean, the smiling head scan, I get why they did it, because it's supposed to be like his cheesy grin. But any smiling Lesnar figure looks kind of silly to me, because it's just not like him. As for Elite 31 Kane, I haven't opened mine yet, but I know it's not too exciting, as it's just his corporate head with a removable mask. Someone else said Elite 27 Undertaker, mainly because of his rubber robe. I like that Undertaker figure. I too just agree that his robe was annoying. I know it'd be way too expensive for them to make it cloth, unfortunately. I just hate the rubber robes, as you can't pose them at all. They just look really stiff and stupid in it. But yeah, I don't know. I can't pinpoint really too many horrible figures myself. Some of the figures you guys thought were the best this year was Elite 29 CM Punk. That figure I like, but I'm not as much of a Punk fan anymore after all his nonsense. Someone else said the WrestleMania 30 Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels figures, which were the exclusive Elite figures that you could get at Walmart and Target, I believe. I don't remember if they're at Toys R Us, but those figures were good. I can agree with that. And someone else said the Elite Bray Wyatt, and I definitely agree with that one. That's my favorite figure of 2014. Someone else said Elite 30 Batista. I'm a little behind. I haven't even opened my Elite 30 Batista yet. But the detail on him was phenomenal, so I will give Mattel props for that one. And someone else said Elite 28 Bray Wyatt as well. And the Rey Mysterio flashback from Elite Series 32, and I can agree with that, as that's probably one of Rey's best figures in my opinion. So yeah, that's a little wrap up on my favorite and least favorite figures, as well as your favorite and least favorite figures. If you want to participate in my questions and have your opinion voiced on the show, be sure to like The Figure Mark on Facebook at facebook.com/thefiguremark, or tweet to me at thefiguremark on Twitter. So now, it's about time to get into my interview with Jeremy. Like I said, for those of you that don't know who Jeremy Padawer is, he's a co-founder of Wicked Cool Toys, and he was in charge of the WWE license at Jax when he was there for many years. And he brought the classic Superstars line to life, and did a hell of a lot for that line in our collection. So That being said, let's give a warm welcome to Jeremy. And we'll be right back with him after this.
Thursday nights, you need to experience The Rack. From wrestling news, discussions, and interviews with wrestling's biggest superstars, like Kane, Seth Rollins, Edge, and more. It's The Rack, Thursday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern on rackradioshow.com.
All right, guys, so here we have our special guest of the hour, the one and only Jeremy Padawer from Wicked Cool Toys. You may know him from Jakks Pacific, as he helped bring us the amazing WWE line, including the classic Superstars line we all love. And he's a good friend of mine, so I'm very excited to have him on the first episode. So, hey, Jeremy, how are you today?
I'm good. Thank you very much. I appreciate, I appreciate your contacting me, and I'm glad that you consider me a friend. I do too. I consider you as well. And, I have to say that you contacted me, I think, first when you were, I'm going to say you were like 14 or 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I think that I've been in the toy business for a while now, and I'm impressed that you reached out at such a young age and that you had a focus on what you really wanted to aspire to do, and I'm glad to see that you're achieving that. On the flip side of that, I'm proud of myself for being, what was it, like 10 years ago, open to talk to a 14 or 15-year-old kid when you're
really
trying to be an executive, trying to be an executive in a company. So, I've always lived my life that way. I really do believe, and I'm very interested in hearing what the collectors think. I know that you can't always make people happy, but I'm as interested in hearing when people are not, as I am when they are, because at the end of the day, when you're managing brands, you want to do the right thing. And for so many reasons, sometimes you ultimately have to negotiate what that might look like.
No, I totally agree, and I really appreciate you giving me the chance you did, because I think you're honestly the first person who really gave me my first opportunity in this industry, which then led to all my other opportunities. I don't know. I'm forever grateful for you giving me that chance.
Well, that's no problem, man. Anytime. Thank you very much.
Sure. All right. So I gathered a handful of questions from people. I mean, you got a bajillion questions submitted, which I was really excited about. I was going to see if you could clarify some stuff that a lot of people have trouble wrapping their head around.
Sure.
But before we get into that, I just wanted to see if you could tell us a little bit about how you got into the toy business and how you pursued the WWE license, creating the classic Superstar line and whatnot.
Okay, well, I got into toys. Look, I've always been interested in collectibles, always. As a kid, I collected everything from LJN figures to autographs to sports memorabilia and stamps and coins and you name it. I just loved collecting. And so I knew I had the right mentality because I in my heart, I'm a collector. And so I know the benefit of reaching out to a consumer who truly does know a lot about whatever the brand or whatever the category that they're collecting. When I was in high school, I started working in a toy store. So 25 years ago, at 16 years old, I started working in a small toy store in Memphis, Tennessee. And in graduate school, so I did a JD MBA, and I paid for my education like a lot of people do, and I wanted to figure out a way to make money on the side. So I started creating websites, and some of them were transactional in nature. So, for instance, there was something called Absolute Beanie Babies, where you could buy and sell product online. It's been a long, long time ago. It was 19 years ago, but I had Disney as an advertiser. I had all these cool advertisers, and I recognized that you could make a living doing something online and doing something in toys. So after I graduated, finally, I went to Mattel I got recruited to Mattel, which was amazing. I was very excited about that opportunity. And I was at Mattel for several years, and then I went to Jakks Pacific in 2002 or 3, I forget. But anyways, they wanted someone to come in and head up their entertainment business. And they had WWE. At the time, it wasn't a big business at the time. There were some challenges with it. And my perspective was, we need to reach out to the collector. We need to treat this more like a collectible than a toy. And a few of the things that we did, number one, we decided that we would create the Classic Superstars line. Number two, we decided that we were never going to be satisfied with just doing a bunch of the A-level guys. We wanted to do A's, B's, and C's, and really make sure that we captured the entire roster, or as much of it as we possibly could. And then we also had very, very quick wave rollouts. So we had new figures in the marketplace all the time. And as a result, the business just blew up. I mean, we grew it enormously. Now, with that said, it was always as important to me to focus on doing a 1 of 50 limited edition figure, or make sure I had something for the toy fair that was meaningful, as it was, having some big profitable line. Because at the end of the day, the collector drives the business. Don't get me wrong, I love the idea of kids in WWE and playing with the action figures the way I did as a 10-year-old with the LJNs being released in 1983. But I still believe the heart and soul of a lot of brands is the adult collector, or the older age consumer, meaning people who are over the 12, 13 years old, who are still really passionate about the brand. And that is a very long-winded way to say that today we started a company several years ago, and one of the licenses that we took on was WWE, and we're finding new opportunities to expand the brand. We're not the master toy, so there are lots and lots of restrictions. But we like to do things that are value-oriented, and then we like to do things that are very collector-driven. And we're going to continue to do both of those things.
Awesome. I know one question some people are wondering is, do you guys have a relationship with Mattel to figure out what to do as far as what products you guys could kind of work hand in hand with, sort of thing, or? The relationship is really with WWE. Now, I'm a former Mattel employee, as is Michael Rensler, who's my U.S. partner. We actually have another partner named Thomas Poon in Hong Kong, who's a really great guy. But Michael and I worked for Mattel, 14 years ago, whatever it was, and we do have a relationship with the individuals there. But the business relationship is really with WWE. They're the ones that own the license, and they're the ones that are able to identify whether we can develop product in the categories that we're asking to develop product. Okay. And really, the fact is, Mattel do so many things right, and the categories that we're approaching and developing against, we're just carve-outs where we can find an opportunity that may not be a priority for Mattel in that moment. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I was curious myself, so that's pretty cool. Now here's a big question that I know, I think you and several other people at Jakks explained to me a long, long time ago.
Okay.
But how does budgeting work, like, for the figures? Because I know a lot of people have trouble understanding, and I try to explain. I don't even know if I'm explaining it right half the time. But like how you guys decide what amount of details go into figures and accessories and things like that.
Yeah. Well, so a few things. Number one, you really start at a retail price target, and then you back out from there. So let's just say that a basic action figure should be $9.99 and a deluxe should be $14.99. All right. So you identify that you have a price target that you need to achieve, and then as a company, you establish a cost target, which is the maximum that you're willing to pay a factory to develop that item. Now, for me, being a collector at heart, my mindset has always been, don't squeeze too much life out of the product. And so that's the reason why we did develop deluxe SKUs, and that's the reason why we did develop, but when you look at a line, let's say there's 6 figures in a particular wave. The components of cost include the plastic, and believe me, the way the plastic works is it starts out as like little beads of plastic, right? And then they're placed into a machine that heats those beads up super hot, and then fills a tool, which is a cut metal piece. It puts the melted plastic in the cavity of that tool, and then you pull out what may be an arm or a leg or a body of an action figure, a head, non-deco, non-painted. So the plastic has a very predictable cost. The deco is what happens when you pull the stuff out of the machine, and you literally have a line of people who are hand painting, and sometimes tampo painting, which basically means instead of using their hands, they're using like a sponge that has a preset deco on it, and they touch the plastic with that sponge, and then all of a sudden, magically, the emblem or the face or whatever may show up on the plastic. So your deco operations are getting more expensive all the time because labor in China is getting more and more expensive every year. And so what you do is you have your plastic, you have your deco, you have your packaging. So your packaging is both the corrugate, which is literally like the paper, the hard paper, and then the plastic part, which is like the blister card. And between all of that and your shipping costs, you establish your cost. Okay, and the components of cost, which get very complicated, really comes down to deco. So the more elaborate your figure, the more it costs, because every single time an individual takes a second to apply a particular deco strike, that costs money. And as a result, what you see if you're trying to hit that $9.99 price point is that year after year after year after year, you can do a little bit less every year to achieve that price point. So what happens is then the basic figures goes to $12.99 and the deluxe goes to $17 or whatever it may be. But the point is, and what it really comes back around to, is that for me, I really did love adding additional value in deco and having a very broad variety of products to offer. And I do admit that once you tool up a bunch of styles of bodies, it is very, very, very costly to change the tools. And one of the things that we would get dinged on is our lack of scale and nailing scale down appropriately. And believe me, if I had to do it over again, we would have nailed down scale appropriately. And I'm glad to see Mattel doing a really nice job with scale. I think the biggest challenge for anybody in the toy industry right now is making sure that you put out very, very nice quality product, meaning the deco is very good, and that you have the bandwidth to put out a lot of varied product, and not just focus on a couple of the biggest superstars. And those are the components of cost.
Well, that was a very detailed breakdown, and you explained a lot of stuff that I don't even remember being told about, so thank you. I mean, I hope that will help people understand why some guys are missing tattoos and things like that.
Absolutely.
All right, well, a lot of the questions that I mostly got were regarding the authentic scale items that you're producing, and there's a little heat, I guess, that rose on Twitter in the last hour with the Wicked Cool Toys Twitter about the authentic scale cages, as there was, I guess, confusion that it does come with rings, and some people thought it didn't, and they were just wondering, I guess, why that is, and if they'll ever be sold on their own sort of thing, and what the price point might look like. I don't know what you're allowed to share with us, but
yeah, sure. No, look, you know me. I'm pretty open. I mean, you know, there's never a scenario where you can disclose everything in the universe, but I feel very comfortable disclosing a lot of things. So, you know, I would say that with the real scale ring, or the authentic scale ring, the original idea and concept was that we would have the basic ring, and then we would sell all the accessories, and that we would have a buildable system. But you know, the truth is that we were unable to achieve the license to do ring accessories as standalone items. So that means that we have to create the full item every time. And licensing is complicated. I mean, it is. And by the way, I completely understand the rationale. I mean, you know, this is a very, very big item. And can you imagine when you have limited space at retail, if you have 6 or 7 things at retail that are dedicated to the authentic scale ring, how much space that would take? It would take a lot of space. And so basically what we're, you know, doing now is combining it into one item, which is much more efficient. And it achieves the objectives of all parties. And that is, you know, one of the things that we lose is the ability to sell a system. But I got to say that, you know, my desire and interest, and the team's desire and interest to work with WWE, and they have been incredibly great partners. It is what it is at this point.
Okay. I mean, that's what I kind of figured, is that it just made more sense. Even though a lot of people would prefer not to get a bunch of rings sort of thing. I mean, collectors who, because then the rings pile up sort of thing, but I figured it made more sense for it to just come as a whole, especially for people who don't have the first ring sort of thing.
Right, and by the way, a lot of this is driven by retail. It's not even a licensing issue. It's a retail issue. I mean, at the end of the day, you have very limited space. And, you know, there's a real concern that, you know, you over-index too much space to a very, very bulky item, then you end up with fewer action figures, because it's not like you're going to increase that space.
Right.
So, you know, we just have to, look, we're not the number one toy partner. And that's something that we are very happily a part of the program. And, again, Mattel is doing quite a good job. So we have to be very respectful of their space.
That's understandable for sure. Do you know what the price range will be now that it will have the ring with it?
You know, I don't know, because I can't necessarily set retail pricing. I can offer a suggested price range. Mm-hmm. So my assumption is that it's going to be in the, you know, in the 125 range. Yeah, but I do not know for sure.
Wow. Hey, well, that's what the Elimination Chamber and stuff was that you guys did.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Speaking of that one, a lot of people were wondering if you were going to do a chamber and a Hell in a Cell by chance.
Yeah. I mean, look, that's the plan. The plan is that, you know, for me, it's always been about offering a wide universe of WWE product. So that's not in the plans for 15. You know, for 15, we're going to have the authentic classic cage and the authentic current cage. But as we move forward, we will also introduce all of the ways that, you know, you experience the WWE ring.
So would you guys, this is a question I was wondering, would you guys ever consider making like the ambulance match type thing? I don't know if that falls in your ballpark sort of thing. I
don't know. I mean, look, I'm so open to suggestion. I mean, for the same reason why we were open, or the same reason why I was open to hearing from you as a 14-year-old. I mean, seriously. I mean, if people have thoughts for stuff, if we can somehow, achieve the particular category, we would be very open to developing cool product for WWE. I mean, it's a love for our entire team.
Yeah, I mean, the unique stuff like that. I mean, one thing I loved when you were with Jax was when you guys did stuff like grapple gear and the little accessory packs you did where like they had the extra turnbuckles and ring skirts and stuff like that. Would something like that ever be possible, or does that kind of interfere with Mattel's
I don't know, but I'm certainly open. I mean, if you want to collect a list of ideas,
sure,
I'd be very happy to discuss those ideas openly with WWE. And again, with all due respect to the master toy licensee, I would never, do anything that would that they were interested in achieving. But yes, sure. I mean, we as a company are super opportunistic about working with our favorite brands. So WWE is right at the top.
All right, so see everybody, just send me your list of things you'd like to have made, and I'll pass it along to Jeremy.
Absolutely. Send me one big email, Matt. Don't
sure.
send me 37 little ones.
No. I'll make a little collection for you.
Of course, thank you.
What was I going to ask? Oh, the 31-inch Hulk Hogan, which I'm ecstatic you guys are making. I'm a huge Hulkamaniac myself. When will he be out this year?
Yes, he will be out this year, and we are going to have both the traditional Hulkamania version as well as a NWO version.
Oh, no way!
It's going to be awesome.
He shouldn't have said that.
Oh my goodness. It's going to be awesome. So that's the first time that's been mentioned.
That's so cool.
But yeah, it's going to be very, very sweet. And Hogan is an icon, and it's so exciting to be able to develop a Hogan item. This is probably I can't say for sure but I think I know the history of WWE products well enough to know this may be the largest Hogan figure ever made. I'm going to say it is because I haven't seen one bigger. But maybe you could say one of the pillow Hogans back in the day. But
right.
Certainly in plastic.
Will you guys be making more characters in that size, like
Absolutely.
divas and whatnot,
Absolutely.
or just strictly the male stars?
We are super duper interested in hearing who we should be making. I will say this. I think that 31-inch figures, by nature of what they are tend to have more of a kid collector base. But I think that I think that once you start going into divas and classics, that's when you start embracing, the traditional older age collector as well. So very interested in hearing, who else should we be doing in 31-inch?
Okay, yeah. I mean, I was I was super excited to see you did Bray Wyatt. That was gonna be my next question. I was really excited you were doing Hulk Hogan, as he is one of my all-time favorites, and I was curious, would you guys consider like a Bray Wyatt for that size?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you're developing figures, there's all kinds of tooling challenges. So you have some ability to mix and match. The thing about Bray is the same thing that you end up with like a Roman Reigns. They have very specific body styles and suits that they wear. So if the demand is there, we would certainly do a Bray. Bray is an awesome character, man. He is such a great character.
He's my favorite, honestly.
I'm trying to figure out why Roman Reigns got booed on the Rumble and on Raw. But that's a whole other subject.
Yeah, really, don't get me started on that one. I wasn't booing. I was booing at the people that were booing.
You know what, though? I think WWE and their approach is much like my approach is that, the boos communicate a message, and WWE loves to hear what the WWE universe has to say.
Oh, definitely.
So,
Definitely.
so again, the boos are as powerful as the cheers. It just communicates something. It took me off guard. I don't know what the reason was, but certainly, clearly, Roman Reigns elicits a lot of emotion, which is cool. So, and they end up being the heel and the babyface,
Right.
really sort of switch roles here. And even if they're kind of playing their traditional roles, it kind of reminds me of Steve Austin when everybody's like, why are they cheering this guy? But they were cheering for a reason. The guy was amazing.
Oh, definitely. I'm excited to see what they end up doing with him and Lesnar at Mania. I mean, I love both of them, so I'm excited.
Well, Raw this past week was awesome. I mean, for them not to have a preset, agenda from a match standpoint, to do all of that last second was really cool.
Oh yeah, oh definitely. I enjoyed that. It was nice for a little something different.
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. All right. So, what other questions do you have in the bag there for me?
Well, I guess my last question really would be.
It's not about Chinese New Year, is it? Is it about Chinese New Year?
No.
All right.
I guess can we look forward to seeing a lot of new WWE stuff at Toy Fair that we haven't seen you guys do yet? Like, is there anything new?
Yeah, we had some cool stuff. I mean, we had some new things to see, and new waves, and new characters, and even a new concept that we're launching this year.
Good.
So there's definitely stuff to see, and always, and just kind of recognizing where we fit into the universe. We will always have something fun, and we will always have something value-oriented, and we'll always have something, hopefully, collector-oriented as well.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm excited that you guys acquired the license, because I know you've always been very good about listening to what people want, sort of thing, and not that other companies don't, but that you're just very interactive, and I think that's one thing I really appreciated about you and kind of applied to my own work, and that you gotta listen to your audience, sort of thing.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I mean, look, if I want to eat, let me just put it this way: if you act only in your own self-interest when you're managing someone else's property, by the nature of that, you've got a problem. And so, when you're developing licenses or you're working on stuff like that, you really, even more than ever, owe it to the brand owner to listen very carefully to what's being said in the universe. So, it's definitely my pleasure. The collectors will always be the most important, part of the game. And, in the meantime, the collectors will not always get what they want, just simply because of the challenges and complexities to the universe that we're playing in. But certainly over the course of time, the objective is to get as close as possible to providing, consumers and collectors exactly what they're asking for.
And that's great, honestly. It's just nice to have the ability to express our mind, sort of thing. I mean, thank goodness for social media today.
Oh my gosh, exactly. It's pervasive. And it used to, I remember back in the day with when I was doing Jeremy.com and reaching out. It was before Twitter, and it was before Facebook. It was before any of those things, and it was incredibly powerful. I mean, we're talking about 10 years ago,
right.
And certainly the internet. It's not like the internet was in its infancy, but there was very little communication to the collectors. I started communicating to collectors online in 1996 with Beanie Babies. And like I said, my earliest business was having online websites where you could buy and sell and stuff like that. And I just made, next year I guess will be 20 years of communicating with collectors online. And I got to tell you that it's always been a powerful medium. And I'm so happy that people have a voice because a lot of things wouldn't be done if it weren't for the way the collectors relate and the specifically the way the WWE universe relates.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we've definitely made our impact for the good and the bad.
Mostly the good. I'll tell you, man. So, So look, to all the folks out there that have been collecting and who over the years, I've aggravated or made happy, thank you for continuing on. It's the joy of my life to create product. That's probably second to my family, which is by far number one. But number two is doing stuff like in the product world, and I love collectibles and brands and people that collect. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much for being the very first guest on the show. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this fantastic interview that will hopefully enlighten a lot of people.
My pleasure.
All right. Well, that's it with Jeremy, guys. Thank you again for being on the show, and we'll be right back after this break.
There is only one place to go for all the latest wrestling action figure reviews, and that's Wrestling Figure Wednesday, with new episodes every Wednesday and Friday. Wrestling Figure Wednesday provides you with some of the most intricate reviews of the latest wrestling action figures from both WWE and TNA. And if that's not enough, look out for some exclusive wrestling action figure reviews that you won't see anywhere else. The only place to find these wrestling action figure reviews is at youtube.com/MVG1211.
Hey gang, this is Tara, formerly known as Victoria from WWE, and I just want to say Matt Goldberg is a genius.
Make sure you check out Wrestling Figure Wednesdays today.
Alright guys, so that was my awesome interview with Jeremy. Thank you, Jeremy, so much for being on the show and answering a ton of our questions. I really appreciate it, and I really hope to have you back on the show. Hopefully he answered a lot of your guys' questions to your expectations. It's always fun to ask people in the wrestling toy industry questions like this, and I hope to be able to do it with my friends at Mattel and Jax and what have you in the future. So now I just want to talk about some of my latest figure pickups. Like I said, not a whole lot has been out too much right now. Something I forgot to mention earlier was the new Target Hall of Fame exclusive Elite Series, and that's a Stone Cold Steve Austin, Sergeant Slaughter, Trish Stratus, and Ultimate Warrior. Not every Target has gotten these, surprisingly. My Targets down here at grad school in Georgia do not have them, which is odd, but my stores back home in Illinois had them, so I was really lucky to get them before I left. Literally like the day before I left to come back down to school, I got them. If you're having trouble finding them, give this number to a Target employee at your local store. It's called the DPCI number, and it's Target's identification number for the series itself. And that number is 087062061. And remember, give that to an employee in the toy department, and they can look up in their system to see how many they have in their store or how many your local Targets have if you have more than one store. That way you can track it down and see if they could be nice enough to pull it for you from the back room. And hopefully you have luck finding them. I heard a lot of people have not been able to find them, which is really odd. I don't understand why that's the case. But they are great figures. The Stone Cold's awesome, probably my favorite in the set. The Ultimate Warrior's fantastic, too. It's probably my favorite Ultimate Warrior Elite figure, actually. Sergeant Slaughter's in the set. He's just a repaint of his original mold, so he has the leg issues, kind of like the Mark Henry Elite I mentioned earlier. So that's frustrating, but the figure itself looks fantastic. And the Trish figure is great, too. You could check out my reviews of them on Wrestling Figure Wednesday on my YouTube or on Facebook at facebook.com/WrestlingFigWed. Check those out if you want to see me do an in-depth review on them. But I recently got those. I got the Defining Moments Hulk Hogan, which I've said 500 times already. I highly recommend that one, and that's at Kmart and Meijer stores right now. I got Basic 45 Mankind and Ricky Steamboat, as well as The Miz, and nothing really else. I mean, online I got Basic 47 Cesaro. My review of him, I believe, by the time you guys hear this, it should be on my YouTube by then. If not, it will be in the next week or so. But that figure's great. I'm not a huge fan of his new head scan, but I love Cesaro, so I was really excited to get that figure a little early, considering it's taking forever for new stuff to come out. Yeah, and then I just want to do a little feature on one of the customs I made lately that everybody just is going bonkers over. And I'm not one who paints my customs or anything. I just like to combine parts from other figures to make somebody. But I picked up an extra Basic 44 Kane. I took my Jax TNA Ruthless Aggression Abyss figure, took the head from Abyss, put it on the Kane figure, and then I put a custom sleeveless black shirt on Abyss, and then put the Elite Luke Harper vest over that, and then I took a cotton ball and I stretched it and put it under Abyss's shirt to give him a tummy to make him look chubbier, and people were going bonkers over it. So if you're listening to this on YouTube, you'll see the picture of it right now, of what I'm talking about. But if you're on SoundCloud, just, I guess, imagine what it looks like, unless you're friends with me on Facebook. You guys could always add me on Facebook at facebook.com/mbgfilms1211. I'll be more than happy to chat with you, so message me whenever. But yeah, those are some of my latest pickups. I'm excited for newer stuff to start hitting, I hope, in the next week or two. I'm anxious for Elite 33. I wanted to touch base on more stuff that has actually come out since I recorded the earlier part of this podcast. Yes, this part was recorded a little bit later than everything else you were just listening to. But Basic 46 has started hitting online retailers. That's a set with Jerry Lawler. You could get them on MattelShop.com, and they're on Amazon.com as well right now, so they should be hitting retail shelves very soon. The new Fantasy Past versus Present Battle Packs, I think it's Series 33, if I'm not mistaken. Ringside Collectibles released images of those, and those look pretty awesome in my opinion. I'm definitely going to pick up all three sets. It's Shawn Michaels versus a modern Undertaker, Andre the Giant versus Big Show, and Rey Mysterio versus Rob Van Dam. Check out the images on the Ringside Collectibles Facebook page for more on that. And also, Hulk Hogan's Defining Moment figure is on the Toys R Us website, and it is starting to hit Toys R Us shelves. So start checking your local Toys R Us stores for him if you are still looking for him. He's $25 at Toys R Us and Meijer, I believe, and he's $30 at Kmart. I have no idea why the price varies. But yeah. Then lastly, I just want to touch base on WWE itself. I do not want to get too heavily into wrestling talk, as there are so many podcasts like that currently. But I did watch the Rumble. I was annoyed that everybody was so upset about it. I didn't think the Rumble was fantastic, in my opinion, but I still enjoyed it for the most part. I love that Bray got a big highlight in the Rumble. It was great to see him overcome so many guys in the match. I just hated the way he, Ambrose, and Ziggler were eliminated. I thought that was just very weak eliminations. Even Kofi's thing was not very special, which was disappointing, as he always does something unique each year. So maybe next year he'll step up his game again. But honestly, I'm not upset that Roman won. I know a lot of people are fuming about it. I mean, granted, maybe Roman might not be ready, but I'm excited that Mania is going to have something fresh with Roman versus Lesnar. I love both of them, and that should be a really fun match. Even if it is predictable, I'm still excited and looking forward to seeing it, honestly. So just give him a chance. Don't cancel your subscription to the network. If you're a true fan, you'll never turn your back on the company over the outcome of one match. I mean, wrestling's not always going to go your way, And if you're a passionate fan like me who just loves the business for what it is, just accept it and move on, sort of thing. You never know. They might surprise us a lot. But I'm sure your voice was heard, so don't worry. But I'm still looking forward to seeing what they do next. Also, I've almost forgot this as well, but if you have the WWE Network, I highly recommend checking out their new series, WWE 24. I loved it, honestly. It's a tearjerker, in my opinion, if you're a passionate fan of the business. They do the whole thing with Connor, which was a little boy who suffered from cancer that they did that really special WrestleMania event for. Then they show a lot of behind the scenes of Ultimate Warrior getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. And there's a clip of him and Hulk Hogan making up and putting all their differences aside, which really hit hard for me, honestly. I mean, especially since Warrior passed away so suddenly afterward, but just to see them bury the hatchet really meant a lot to me. And then there's just a lot of behind the scenes of WrestleMania 30, at least for this episode. So it was really interesting. It reminded me a lot of my documentaries I made, and I would absolutely love to work on WWE 24 one day. So that might be my goal when I get out of grad school in a few months. So we'll see. But I highly recommend checking it out. It is just really interesting. If you're a true wrestling fan, you'll just be fascinated by it. And hopefully you'll appreciate it as much as I do. But definitely check that out if you can. Anyway, I started playing 2K15 finally for PS4, and I love it. The My Career mode is fun. It's gotten a little boring for me as of late because they just keep booking me in stupid matches and meaningless matches. I finally made it to SmackDown, so hopefully they put me in some fun matches. But I wanted to share some videos with you guys from my experiences. I had some really good matches for fun with Bray and Ambrose and Rollins. Probably one of the most exciting video game matches I've ever had. But you could see some of those on my Facebook page, as I haven't figured out how to really download them and put them on YouTube, as I don't want to upload it directly to my YouTube because I want to edit it and put in stuff. So we'll see. If you guys want to see some gameplay videos, which I normally never do, just let me know. It's something to look into. Another announcement I recently made was of CCW Crash Course. This is a little show I wanted to do from my apartment here at school. I'm really swamped with grad school work, so I wanted to try and bring back CCW in a way. It wouldn't replace CCW, it's just another brand of CCW, I guess, so that makes sense. So we'll see. I had to change my plans a little bit of it as of late, so I'm still replanning how I want to go about doing that, but I plan to do that soon, so keep an eye out for that. In other WWE news, really, there's the new Immortals game for the smartphones. I haven't played it yet, but I saw a lot of you guys say it was a lot of fun, and it looked interesting. Figures of them would be really cool if they do that. But I don't know. I'll have to try it. I mean, my phone wouldn't let me because I'd be connected to Wi-Fi, so I'll download it and see how it is. A lot of those app games don't hold my attention very long, so we'll see. Hopefully it's better than Supercard, as that game got really boring to me after a while, as it was just so repetitive and there's really no payoff, in my opinion, in the end. But yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys really like this podcast. Hopefully you're still listening at this point. I'm really hoping to get some of my friends in the industry, from the toy industry and the wrestling industry, like Eric Bischoff, Lisa Marie Varon, Matt Morgan, Elijah Burke, Michael Mann, all those people, Abyss, people I'm friends with, and my friends at Mattel, WWE, and Jax, who might be able to provide some insight besides what we always hear from my friends at Ringside when they go to Toy Fair and Comic-Con and whatnot. I just wanted to bring you guys an alternative to the wrestling figure world, as I know Ringside used to do podcasts and then it died out. So I wanted to bring them back. So hopefully you guys like this. If you have suggestions on things that you'd like me to do, things you would rather I wouldn't talk about, things you want me to talk about, if you want to get on the show and talk with me, which I really hope to have in upcoming episodes, have some of you guys who are my friends talk with me about the latest figures and news and whatnot, just so you don't have to listen to me for almost an hour talk by myself. So let me know what you think. I'm going to start posting interactive questions on my Twitter and Facebook pages. I want to just get more interactive with you guys so I could have your opinions voiced on the show besides just mine. So please, please, please participate with those, as it will make the show that much more interesting for you as a listener besides just me blabbing. So anyway, thank you for listening. I will be having this show at the end of each month, as I don't think there's enough topics to really talk about each week as of yet. If you feel differently, let me know. But yeah, be sure to follow The Figure Mark on Twitter at The Figure Mark. Like the Facebook page at facebook.com/thefiguremark, and please subscribe to me on YouTube at youtube.com/mbg1211 to keep up with all the latest news and videos and whatnot for the show. And follow me on SoundCloud as well at soundcloud.com/thefiguremark. And like my other pages as well. If you're on SoundCloud, all my links are right there on the profile. Please support me on my other Twitters as well at WWETNA Figures and at MBG Films, as I post a lot of figure news early and stuff there, as well as on my personal Twitter. I will interact with you about my filmmaking and whatever other stuff I am up to personally that I might not post on the other pages. Check out the new CCW stuff at facebook.com/crashcollisionwrestling. So like that page and like the Wrestling Figure Wednesday page as well at facebook.com/wrestlingfigwed. For all your wrestling figure needs, check out ringsidecollectibles.com. Also, be sure to check out my friends at the Rack Radio Show. That's rackradioshow.com every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. They have all the latest wrestling talk, rumors, what have you. Lots of discussion. They're really great to listen to. They're a lot of fun. They have wrestlers on their show all the time. They just recently interviewed Kane and Seth Rollins. They had me on the show at one point, which happened to be one of their most popular episodes, which is really flattering. But they're so much fun, and I really highly recommend you guys check out their stuff. They talk a lot about wrestling, and it's just a lot of fun. Also, for custom figure shirts, check out my friend at thefigurebooth.com. And for custom ring skirts for all your different sized wrestling figure wrestling rings, check out ringskirts.googlepages.com. And yeah, thanks for listening, and I'll see you next month.